Good evening and a warm welcome to today's episode of Joy News Exclusive. My name is Bright Nana Amfo. Now, the National Executive Committee of the New Patriotic Party has just concluded its meeting in Accra. The meeting took certain decisions. The party has gone through a lot after the election petition verdict. The Executive Committee met to take a decision on the way forward for the party in 2016. Now, let me read the communique that was issued at the end of the National Executive Committee meeting held in Accra today. The National Executive Committee of the New Patriotic Party met today, 3rd October 2013, to deliberate on the steering committee's proposals on the way forward for the party. Now, two areas of misinformation were dismissed, namely that there was any plan to impose MPs on constituencies. And according to the National Executive Committee, there is no such plan. The New Patriotic Party continues to believe that elections are the best way to judge one's electability. The second misinformation was that the national executives were seeking to extend their mandate. This too was summarily dismissed. The national executives are working towards its replacement in March 2014, and the constituency and regional elections to precede the National Delegates Congress. Members of the National Executive Committee have been tasked to consult their constituencies for finalization at a meeting next week of the proposal and internal calendar for submission to the National Council. So the National Executive Committee of the party met in Accra, and this was the decisions that they arrived at. Now, another meeting is expected next week to make proposals for what the party says will pave the way for the 2016 elections. Now, according to some information we had, a lot went out there at that meeting. Very soon, I'll be speaking to a member of parliament for the Esojaman constituency, who is a member of the National Executive Committee. I'll also be speaking to Anil Sabuti, who was there at the meeting for some vital information on decisions made at the meeting. Stay there on Joy News Exclusive. I'll be back in a moment. Thank you so much for staying there on Joy News Exclusive. Now, the National Executive Committee party was attended by a big shot of the party. Former President John Agyekum Kufuor was at the party, and according to inside information, he made certain comments that will ensure the party will remain stronger after the meeting. Just after the meeting at about 5:45, I caught up with a member of the National Executive Committee and a member of Parliament for Esojaman, Kofi Osei-Ameya. He told me what went on at the party meeting, and of course, I'm sharing that with you right here on the Joy News Exclusive. Good evening and a warm welcome to the special edition of JN Exclusive. Now, tonight we'll be talking about the New Patriotic Party. Its national executive meeting has ended. Certain decisions have been taken to get the party ready for 2016. My guest is a member of Parliament for Esojaman, Kofi Osei-Ameya, and a member of the National Executive Committee. Welcome to JN Exclusive.
Thank you.
Now, the NPP has just come out of this crucial meeting. You would say that the party has come out very well.
Very, very well.
Now, how well has the party come out?
Well, in the sense that we finished all happy and we left the place content with the decision we are taking. And that is why we are happy. Others thought that listening to what was happening on radio and television, that we're going to go there, bloody ourselves before coming out. None of those happened. So I can safely say, and if happily say, that we came out smelling like roses.
And the decisions that were taken, for instance, they talk about all sitting MPs going unopposed for 2016. You are a sitting MP, and I guess you might be happy about that decision.
I don't think any decision has been made that MPs should go without elections or without a context. That is not the decision that has been made. So I don't know where you get that decision from. There was a proposal.
What was the decision taken on that particular proposal?
We have agreed to defer whilst we do research, and then we can come back and articulate the research from the bottom to the top.
And so that decision has not been made yet?
No. And it appears that whatever the rank and file and the party officers at the decentralized level say would prevail.
Would you want sitting MPs contesting primaries for 2016? Your personal opinion, not that of the party.
They have a right. Everybody who is a party member has a constitutional right.
But what do you want?
To contest.
What do you want?
I want a majority decision on the matter. And once the majority decision is taken, that is what I want.
If you were the person to press a button to make that decision, what would that decision be?
Well, one person cannot make that decision.
But if you were, so, if it was one person's decision and you were in that position, what would that decision be?
I take it that would be based on the process in the room where we have to take that decision, whether it will be a secret ballot or not a secret ballot. At this point in time, a decision that I will make may be a secret ballot, so I'm not obliged to disclose it at this point in time. But I believe that we must strengthen the rank and file of our party, the base of our party, the foundation of our party. They are the ones that we should consider when making such decisions, their opinions or their views. And that is exactly what we are doing. And if the majority believes that, letting sitting MPs go to Parliament without elections, well, that decision.
You will subscribe to that decision?
Well,
if the majority takes that decision, let sitting MPs go unopposed.
Well, that means they would have given them the mandate, so it would again be elections.
Is the youth wing of the NPP putting pressure on leadership of the party?
In what way?
They were there at the meeting this morning, demonstrating, telling the leaders to let go of certain things and get the party into proper motion.
To express only their opinions and views, which is to seek the views and opinions of the rank and file.
Aren't they putting undue pressure on the party with its decisions?
The party has not made a decision yet. It is only a proposal.
The youth wing is asking the party leadership to make certain decisions.
The party leadership had made certain proposals for an onward transmission. The party youth wing and others are saying, no, we have not had full consultations yet. So consult and let us express our opinions and our views. That they have been allowed to do.
Could it have been done without the youth wing demonstrating? Why
not? The youth wing were not part of or privy to the meeting or what happened in the NEC meeting. So they expressed their views before the meeting started. And when the meeting was ongoing, there was no iota of truth in your assertion that they put pressure on the members who were to make the decision.
Perhaps judging by the fact that they were there and demonstrating, asking that leadership should do this or the other thing. That is what I mean by pressure.
Well, they were just saying that we should hear their views and opinions. And what is wrong with that?
Have they been left out of decision taking? If they're saying that, have they been left out?
Perhaps the proposals that were being made, they felt that they ought to be contacted and they ought their views expressed to our regional leadership, similarly our constituency leadership. And that's what has happened. So they are happy. We are happy. Everybody's happy. I don't know about the others who are agitating that we should lock horns and fight. We are not. The party is together. Unity, we are united as ever, ready for 2016 battle.
Let's talk about the call or the proposal for a flag bearer election before other officers of the party are elected. You are a certain MP. Is it something you subscribe to?
You keep saying that I subscribe to. I am only one single person. The majority view will prevail.
But I want your view on this, and I want your personal view on this.
My personal view is that next week a decision will be made. So just hold your horses, calm down. Next week by this time, we would give you the outcome of the decision we have taken.
Which way will see the NPP more united? The flag bearer elected first, or party officers at the various levels elected first?
The Constitution requires that the party officers are elected first. In the case of the polling station executives, the Constitution is silent on that. But the president or the convention would suggest that they are also supposed to go for 4 years. And so their term of office is about ending, just like the rest of the other officers.
Right.
And for that reason, elections ought to be conducted.
Is your party, the NPP, in some kind of crisis because of all this? Is that how you see it?
No, never. We are not in crisis.
How do you see the party's position as an opposition party?
I see the party, after coming out of the Supreme Court and the decision being handed down, and the party making a decision through its flag bearers announcement that we are not seeking review, then we have to go down and then work on our strategy.
But some of your members were not happy with that decision. There were calls that, why wouldn't you seek review?
We have decided today, right, that we have agreed that there's no review, and that is not on any agenda. So if members thought there ought to have been a review, the candidate thought there shouldn't be. The party subsequently have supported the flag bearers' view, and that is how it remains. We are not.
The National Executive Committee has supported the flag bearers' view.
Yes, it is the flag bearers' view of not going for review has been adopted by the party, and for that reason, the party is saying that there is no review.
That strengthens the party, I guess, and if from what you're saying, the NEC has agreed and formally approved that.
It was not part of the proposal. The proposal we went to consider today, that was not part of it. And the inference, reasonable inference, you could draw from that is that that is not an issue for the party anymore.
So two areas of misinformation were told by the communique that your party has released just after the NEC meeting. 2 areas of misinformation were told were dismissed. That is the proposal to impose MPs and constituencies. The party says there's no such plan. The NPP also believe that the elections are the best way to judge one's electability. And then the second misinformation was that the national executives are seeking to extend their mandate. You're not doing that.
No, we are not. Nobody. Look, there was no decision that the national executive's mandate is to be extended by their say-so.
Perhaps your party supporters think that surreptitiously you want to do that.
Why?
Because
if we want to do that, we will do that constitutionally, and we are permitted constitutionally to do that. But we have not entered that arena as yet to go through the process of constitutional amendment. That has not, that is not in the pipeline. So we haven't done that. As we speak today, the status quo ante remains.
And by 2014 March, National Executive Committee are prepared to give way to a new set of leadership.
Well, that would be decided next week.
Would you be seeking re-election?
In what way?
As part of the National Executive Committee of the party.
When we get to that bridge, we shall cross it. We haven't reached there yet.
One particular issue you have failed to talk to me about is the election of the flag bearer first, or the election of the party executives.
I've answered that. I'm saying to you that as we speak today, that agenda is not on board. A decision was not taken to move that agenda forward. So the status quo remains as you and I speak today.
Is that not causing some level of, if I should put it, confusion in the party?
No. Far from that. In fact, it brings clarity to our position yesterday than what we have today. Because as at yesterday, everybody thought the proposals were going to go through, or most people thought the proposal was going to go through. After the meeting, the proposal did not go through. And so you and I can understand that the status quo remains.
That the party will go and elect 8 other officers first before thinking about the flag bearer?
As we speak today, that is what the Constitution states, that the arrangement, the old arrangements remains until it is changed or proposals are brought and those proposals adopted to change. The status quo remains.
Will it be changed? Looking at what is happening, will it be changed?
Looking at a crystal ball, I won't be able to tell you today, but next week, if you
don't want to say it today?
Oh, I mean, right now, the party will take that decision. And so we don't know what ideas others are going to bring and what ideas the majority from the decentralized college or offices are going to bring. So I don't want to be presumptuous and prejudgmental.
You don't want to say it today, but you expect it to be changed next week.
Expected to be
changed next week.
How do I expect? I don't know. I'm not God. I can't tell what will happen.
Would you be happy?
I can.
Would you be happy if it's changed?
Oh, in fact, I cannot see that happening. But I cannot preempt. I cannot see that. But I think next week, it is just not too far from today. So give us an opportunity to get the views and opinions of our people, our rank and file, in a decentralized way. And then the decision will be made. And as you said, the rank and file are in support of the status quo remaining. So,
you're also happy the status quo remains?
Once we gather the evidence, then the evidence would show us the way. As they keep saying, the collective will of the people is the will of God. So we are waiting for the collective will to advise us or to inform us, and then the will of God will prevail.
A party in opposition and going through this, what would you recommend the party does quickly to put its house in order? 2016 are not very far away from now.
Granted. And that is what we are doing. We are working, and the reason why we met today is to put our house in order to march forward towards 2016. And we are on course based on what happened today.
And finally, you were sure the party will come out stronger than it was?
Oh, massively. Massively. It is going to be stronger. I think when we started, before we started the meeting, there was agitation. By the time we finished the meeting, we were all happy. There was no more agitation. Everybody was happy. Now that should give you a cue as to where we are going. And we are uniting solidly to march towards the 2016 elections, because Ghanaians are looking up to the NPP to salvage this mismanagement of the human and natural resources of this country.
And that means the party cleaning its house first before perhaps getting the mandate of the people.
If you can't manage your house, how can you manage a country? So we ought to manage our house first. And I believe it is not exclusive to us. The other parties also have internal issues to deal with. The only difference with us is that it had become a public debate. But right now, from today, we have contained it. It's come back in-house, and we are dealing with it through consultations with our decentralized members or officers.
In every party, you are a politician, and so you know that in every party there are the hawks. How well have you contained them today so that they don't get out there tomorrow and start running around with perhaps what the party is not excited at?
I was part of the meeting. I didn't see a hawk nor a pigeon.
You're not saying that parties don't have a hawks. There are.
Well, I said I was in the room. I didn't see a hawk nor a pigeon in the room.
Perhaps the hawks were part of the meeting and they are out there waiting for the outcome.
We had a quorum to be able to conduct the meeting. So I don't get your point. We had a quorum. What are you talking about? About hawks were not there. If there were hawks, we would have seen them. If there were pigeons, we would have seen them. And if there were chickens, we would have seen them. There were none of those. None, absolutely none of those.
And would you be surprised if, as the day unfolds and the weeks, and you hear people coming out, that perhaps the NEC has done something that not too excited to all members of the party?
What have they done? What they were proposing did not happen. It didn't. So what are you talking about? What they were proposing did not happen. It didn't. So the status quo remains.
We're getting ready to wrap up this interview, but let me try and read just the last paragraph of the communique issued at the end of the NEC meeting, which was signed by Abdullah Fulamba, the Deputy General. Now, it says that members of the National Executive Committee have been tasked to consult their constituencies for finalization at a meeting next week of the proposal and internal calendar for submission to the National Council.
All we have been asking for is a calendar to conduct elections from bottom up. And as you said, we wanted decentralized views and opinions in order to effect what views they are expressing. If that is in the majority, then as a democratic party, we go by the tenets of the democratic requirements.
And so the elections will be held from the bottom up?
Well, from what you've just read.
From what the National Executive agreed on?
Yes, and if it comes from the decentralized electorate, why not?
Should the supporters of the NPP be so excited at what has happened today?
Yes, very much so.
Why? Why should they be excited? The party has gone through some kind of internal wrangling after the Supreme Court. The meeting today ended. You're asking them to be happy?
Because what they were seeking has been granted, that we should give them extension of time within which also to express their views. It has been done. So the proposals that they were putting forward did not go forward.
And every member you think should be happy. Exactly. For instance, when some members of the youth wing think that perhaps the leadership of the party need to render accounts.
I don't know where that fits in their proposals. It is not part of the proposal. So if it's a different question, then they should follow the procedure and prosecute that agenda.
And exactly how, because, for instance, you saw today the youth wing there at your meeting and singing and dancing. That is not the procedure, and yet they were there. So what procedure are you talking about?
Oh, well, I mean, they are party members. They have entitlement to come to the party grounds. What stops them from coming to the party grounds when you're an MPP member?
Singing and dancing?
Why
and,
not? They are
expressing some form of anger one way or the other?
Anger? There was no serious anger there. They came in, their leaders came and expressed their views to the committee and then left. And then the rest was done or handled by the committee members. So, for me, I don't see why in a democratic dispensation your party members cannot come to the party office.
They can,
and sing,
but they can.
and sing,
but when
and
they're
dance,
singing and carrying
and
placards
express their
and expressing some kind of,
is that against the law? Is
not,
that
it is
against
not
the law?
against the law.
Then
but
what are you talking about?
Is it the norm?
Of course, in a democratic dispensation, one is allowed to demonstrate. One is allowed to express themselves. As long as that expression does not offend or does not injure or does not assault in any way another person, then that right can be contained or should be allowed. And you are not telling us that our party members were coming, we should have driven them out? Are you suggesting that? If you were suggesting that, then I'm afraid that suggestion is unwarranted, and we will not acquiesce that suggestion.
What was former President Kufuor's demeanor at the NEC meeting?
Oh, very, very calm, normal, as the elder statesman, the former president, the man who had taken us to 2 elections and won for us. Of course, we have to heed to his counsel. Yes, he was as presidential as ever.
And I'm sure he might have spoken about preventing factionalism in the party.
Precisely, and uniting for victory, because Ghanaians are looking to us to save them.
And finally, when next week the party goes into this meeting again, what has happened today? How should we expect it to reflect on the final decisions next week? We're wrapping up this interview.
Well, my understanding is that we would have gathered enough information, material from the rank and file, as you said, regional, constituency, and constituency obviously would also consult polling station. So at the end of the day, together from the bottom, we will strengthen our resolve. And then whatever works we have to do to strengthen the base, we shall do so to strengthen the base, so that the base can carry us to victory. That is what we are about.
And the party is looking up to an early Congress. Did the former president give hint about an early Congress?
The proposal did not pass.
NEC threw it away.
No, NEC did not throw it away. NEC said we should go and do consultations, as you have said or read, and then come back, and then let's see what the majority.
How did former President Kufuor react to this particular decision not to perhaps go for an early Congress?
Oh, he reacted in accordance with the overall consensual decision that we arrived at, that we go home and come next week. That was his reaction.
What was his final words? What was his final words?
What was his final words?
Right.
His final words is that was that we are all one family. We must be united. Ghanaians are looking up to us for to run the country, for power, and that we should not divide our ranks, and that the proposals that have been brought, we should go in a decentralized way and dispassionately look at the way we can strengthen the party and then move forward for political power.
Thank you so much for speaking to me.
You are welcome.
Kufuor Sameyaw,
yes, sir,
is the Member of Parliament for Esojaman. Thank you so much for speaking to me.
You are welcome.
Right, so that interview took place right after the National Executive Committee took those very vital decisions. And of course, next week, the Executive Committee will meet again to pave further the way for the party ahead of 2016. Osei Kofi Osei is a member of parliament for Esujeman and a member of the National Executive Committee of the New Patriotic Party. Now, Anio Sabote, my colleague, was there at the meeting. I will get him here and we'll take a look at the body language of members of the Executive Committee. We are told that when former President Kufuor came in there, the crowd, the youth wing of the party that had gathered there, were told actually started singing and shouting and dancing. What was the message they wanted to send across? I'll get him in here and we'll discuss further the next meeting of the NPP. Stay right there. Join us exclusively, taking a short break. We'll be right back. On our social media platform, we asked you, the NPP says it has no plans, or the neck of the party says it has no plans to impose members of parliament on constituencies. Now, it goes on to say that at the meeting, the party says it continues to believe that elections are the best way to judge one's electability. And so we asked you, what is your opinion on these two issues that NEC says it had to deal with at that meeting? A lot of your comments are in here. Let me quickly go through them. Habib Murphy Gorma, if I got it right, says that is true democracy, NPP forever. And then Mohammed Mutala says, I think they are now on the right move. We are in a democratic state and leaders have to be chosen via free, fair and transparent elections rather than appointed by authority, which is known to be done in a state practicing totalitarianism. That is the word you're using. And then Jatabi, you says, yeah, sure, it's true, all the best. And Bonti Benjamin says, kudos to the neck of the NPP, and we hope they will see to it that the party builds a united structure to contest to win 2016 elections. NPP will come back. Those were your last words. And then Kwame Wusu says, nice one there. Fifi Otiwa Jr., you think that they should do whatever it will benefit the party and Ghana as a whole. And then Michael Darko says, this is democracy. Mario Perez Tamale, you says, I'm happy and relieved to hear that that bogus and unconstitutional proposal for MPs to go unopposed and a flag bearer to be elected before the executives have been thrown out by the NEC. Let's focus on building a strong party structure. Non-performing leaders should be voted against. That is what Perez is saying. And Kwame Wusu, you said both parliament and flag bearer position will be contested. Tenge Daniel says, so I ask, are they going to rely on EC to conduct the election? Whoever, Tenge, let's keep that one. Then Ronald Yabua, fine boy, you said, I'm happy they pumped sense into the heads of the neck of the NPP. Other than that, there would have been chaos there. It's good they are now on the right path. Simon Kwesi Akan says, United will stand, divided will fall. Eshi Rado. That's what you said. And then Kofi Otri Siabo says, I believe it's a good decision, but they should rather concentrate on high nomination fees being charged to pave way for good but not so rich people to enter the race. Let me leave some of your comments. I'll definitely come back to read them, the rest, the tail end of the show. But let's come back to the studio here. Anio Sabote was at the NEC meeting. Ani, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And the meeting started with the youth wing of the party there at the headquarters. What kind of signal were they sending?
Well, I think even before the meeting itself, even from the early this week when information started filtering through that there are two proposals about retention of the sitting MPs,
right,
and also the fact that they have to elect a flag bearer before they come right down to the national executives and then the constituency and the rest. A lot of, we're speaking to most party supporters, they were extremely not happy, and so they made the intention clear to go there and demonstrate. So early in the morning they came with placards and it took the intervention of the police to stop them. They were extremely angry. Even as of the time, around 1, 2, 3, while they were still locked up in there in the room, you could hear agitations outside. Most of them were like, we are not prepared.
They were not happy because then it means that the party's constitution was being tampered with.
Absolutely, that's what they believe. And they think that, throughout the process, for a party that kind of beat the chest as they hold on to democracy and all of that, then suddenly you think that, if an MP was going through parliament, get his seat, he should not be judged after 4 years.
Right.
We're not going to have that. So obviously they were very loud, they were very clear, in no clear terms that, look, we are not going to allow this particular thing to happen.
And information we had indicated that when former President Kufuor walked in, they went louder.
Absolutely, because they believe that, you know, and like political pundits say, President Kufuor is more or less like the most successful leader in the UP tradition. Okay, considering that Buzia, well, didn't last 4 years, he was kicked out a little over 2 years. So President Kufuor had the 8 years of them. So they see him more than like the Solomons, for want of a better word, of the party. So they believe that, I mean, his presence will somewhat sway, you know, the minds of those who believe that, okay, look, let's retain the sitting MPs and also elect the flag bearer. So they went to him and they made clear their, you know, unappreciation of whatever they intend pushing. But after the meeting, I was speaking to some of the party officials. Some of them didn't want to speak. Some, when they come, they were dancing around the issue.
Before you do that, you tell us that. Now, one member that I spoke to after, or say, Kofi Assamia, said that before they went into the meeting, you could see differences amongst them, but they came out of the meeting a united front. Did you see that body language of the people streaming into the meeting room with that kind of anxiety, that kind of tension, that kind of perhaps disunity?
Well, I think, I mean, you could say the build-up to the meeting itself has been characterized by all manner of issues. For example, early this morning, for example, I was listening on the radio on Aduma FM, for example, where Sir John, who is the General Secretary, interestingly, was not even part of the NEC meeting.
Right.
There's a major issue, and even the mode of inviting people to the program itself. For example, I heard that, I stand to be corrected anyway, but I heard one of the party officials talk about the fact that President Kufuor was invited and through text message, for example. So these are issues that continue to come. So people believe that, I mean, the current executive is not really working hard enough to sort of bring
the party together once again.
You know, but there are also those who also believe that, you know, people have their personal interest and they are just using, you know, they are just being used to kind of throw mud or dust into the eyes of people.
And you spoke to them when they went through the meeting after those decisions on the imposition of the MPs or certain MPs. What were they telling you about it?
Well, I spoke to a couple of the MPs themselves. I mean, clearly the supporters are completely not interested at all. There was this woman I spoke with, and she attempted contesting the Okankwe seat before, and she was like, "Look, what essentially you are going to do is that if you forced an MP on us, then they will be prepared to sponsor an independent candidate, and when it happens like that, it splits the votes, and NDC candidates or whoever gets to go. If that is what they want, well, then they are ready for it." So I think essentially the party officials also seeing the way the grassroots is extremely angry. I think they were like, okay, look, let's go, come back next week, and the proposals that we have, we'll trash it. But interestingly, I spoke to the minority leader, or Chairman Samuel, and the first point was that, look, it's all rumor. And I was like, but then why have you allowed this to fester? And they said, well, I mean, it's kind of, people are just going on radio and saying things. But the point is that you hear things on the radio, and it affects your party. So what stops you from coming on there to diffuse whatever?
And you've been following these particular proposals that were made, the position of certain MPs. Do you think the proposal was for the good of the party?
Well, I think clearly, even if you broaden it, because this morning, for example, I tweeted and I said and I used the word very extremely nonsense.
Right.
Even you look at it from the national sense, for example, you have a member of parliament to go to parliament and make laws, and you're in a democratic system, and you are telling me that, okay, I don't have the exercise, I don't have the right to exercise as to whether or not I like this person, because essentially what you are telling me is that he may be an MPP person, an MP, but he belongs to constituent.
But is it not good for the party? The party has gone through a lot. So why don't we keep our certain MPs and rather spend our energies on where we have orphan constituencies and spend all the energies there to push members of parliament to win the seat?
They don't contest 4 years. Don't contest 4 years, because essentially, I mean, if it is 4 years, then why don't you allow one party to finish 8 years? This is convention, and then you move on. But yet 4 years, we'll go back to the drawing board to win an election. If you think you've done a good job, go back there, convince some people, they'll vote for you. That's the point. I think that, I mean, they themselves are seeing reasoning in some of the things that their own party supporters are saying. And I want to believe that when they go to bed, they'll think through it And maybe next week when they come, they will reach a consensus and then we can move on.
Let's wrap up this interview. Is the party going to get stronger after all this? From where you stand, from what you have seen?
From what I've seen, I think it depends on them. Then the question is, do you want power or you want divisions? So the question is, the boys in their court, they ought to address that. Is it 2016 we want to come to power, or we want to allow the perceived divisions or whatever factionalism there is to fester? It's a meal ticket for them to go out there and
take that decision.
Absolutely.
And thanks so much for speaking to me.
Thank you very much.
Right, Annual Sabote is my colleague there. He was there at the NEC meeting, and of course, he's been telling you what went on there. Let me read more of your comment to wrap up the show. And quickly, we have a lot more coming in. Kofi Ocheresiabo, well, I read that one. Let me read that of Bapagu Bashiru. You said they should build their party base first, and then Issa Apusiga Abdul Wahab. That's, you said, who's going to conduct these elections because they don't trust the EC anymore? Right. Don Bishop says, if I may ask, who is the next flag bearer? And then Mario Perez Tamale, the NPP has proven to us how democratic they are in terms of decision making. The real job lies ahead, and we must unify right from the grassroots to the executive level to ensure we come back into power to salvage Ghanaians from this incompetent, corrupt, and insensitive government. Long live the NPP. And then Sam Boat, the senior, says, I think it is a good idea for the party's progress, all the best. And then Baba Musa Tamale, you said it is now very clear that the chicken is coming home to roost. In the past, the NPP accused the NDC of being undemocratic after the so-called Swedru Declaration. Why should a party that touts itself as a democratic party suddenly adopt this crude method of selecting its leader? What the NPP intends to do with the flag bearer issue is like building a house by starting from the roof down to the foundation, which is a complete reverse. And then Christian Salvo says, well, they better be, because we cannot sit down for them to impose candidate on us. And then Zor Divine, the NPP is truly democratic party. We welcome the good news. And then Richard Akwa-Kwanzaa says, that's a good idea for the party. Park Ganiyu, I thought the NPP said they went to court to strengthen democracy in Ghana. When there is no more constitution in their party, they should better strengthen their party. And then Newton Jaffet says, I think they have taken the right decision. In Sian Isaac, they should take time to give us a man who can redeem Ghanaians come 2016. And then the Simon says, time will definitely tell. There is nothing hidden that will not be shown in broad daylight. Kuma Alfred Brown thinks the NPP is a confused party. And then Ernest Apia Fuakwa says democracy is at work. And then Oseria, in fact, Honorable Samuel has made my night. I will not hesitate to say I love him. He should kindly call on this number. Or say I'll get Honorable Kofi Osameyaw to call you on this particular now. I guess we're watching the interview we had right after the NEC meeting today. Right. Thank you so much for having stayed right here on Joy News Exclusive. My name is Bright Nanafo. Good evening.